to another Plan With Me video. It is time for March's setup. Just before I get fully into this, if you're new here, please, if you could hit that subscribe button, it means a lot, and then of course any likes, comments, shares are always greatly appreciated too. So for March, I have definitely gone overboard. This has definitely taken me a long time, and I definitely don't recommend doing this unless you are willing to spend 2 days painting and stopping and waiting and painting and stopping and starting and drying in between pages, layers, everything. It took a while, but I am so pleased with how it's turned up. I really love this theme, and if it wasn't such a big undertaking, I would absolutely love to do a whole diary in themes like this. So if you haven't worked it out, if you are not aware of these films, I have decided to do Studio Ghibli this month. I couldn't choose one film because I love so many of them, and even trying to do a different kind of theme on each double page, I still had too many to choose from, and I have done what I've done and I love it, and I don't know, maybe later in the year I'll do a different set of films. But yes, I've gone with Studio Ghibli. They are some of my favourite films out there. If you haven't already seen them, you really should check them out. I know that in the UK here they are available on Netflix. I'm not sure about anywhere else, but buy them. They're never that expensive on like DVD or Blu-ray. Just they are so worth seeing. It's, I don't know, I kind of describe them as a Japanese version of Disney, but it's not the same as Disney. It's just, yeah, just go look. It's hard to explain. But yes, so here is my title page, and there are so many to choose from. But title page, I have gone with Totoro from My Neighbor Totoro because it is a super cute film. It's a super fun film. It's filled with happy music and two adorable sisters, and then there are these incredible creatures that appear. I really wish I could have put them all, but it got a little bit complicated. So I've gone with Totoro himself, and then some of his little friends, and then there's this little cute woodland scene, because obviously there's a lot of the film, if you haven't seen it, is Totoro and his friends and their new friends, the girls, in the woods and doing things. And I've always remembered the scene of Totoro sleeping in his little kind of woodland bit, and I love it. So that is what I've gone for my title page. I don't really know what much more to say about it, because it's just going to be me telling you I love it. I mean, one thing I have done this month is I haven't gone super crazy with the black outlines, so I've sketched it all in pencil. I have painted it in watercolour, and then I've actually only outlined the characters themselves. I haven't worried about outlining anything with the leaves or the toadstools or anything like that. I decided that was kind of super unnecessary. And then I've got a quote as usual on my title page, and I have, of course, because it's me, I haven't gone with a quote from this film. I have used a quote from Calcifer in Howl's Moving Castle, but I really like the quote, so I kind of went with it. And I think it's a nice quote because it is definitely a reminder that sometimes the hardest situations bring the best out of us. And then obviously I'm slightly behind in the talking on what I'm doing, but each of these setups does take a little while. I feel like I have to motivate it around a little bit more. So I have gone with more Totoro on this side. So this is my month at a glance kind of spread. But instead of drawing Totoro himself again, I have drawn his little friends. I've always loved the scene in this film where you can see the little one walking along with his bag of whatever he's got, and he's bright blue, and I love it. And then he's got his friends behind him. So I thought that would be a super cute little thing to paint underneath kind of my little monthly boxes, and then adding in more leaves and foliage to match the other page, even though this page is at an angle to the first one because I can't fit in a month otherwise. Something I did decide when doing these is so I did decide, I kind of was trying to work out whether I should do all the kind of the boxes first, with like the black outlines, because I usually do those in fine liners and then do the painting. But I have discovered, and I did know this and then I forgot and then I made a mistake later, that if you use watercolors over the fine liner pens that I use for the outer boxes, the pen runs, it doesn't look great. So it is actually best, I discovered, to paint things first and then do any kind of outlines, boxes, anything like that afterwards, because then the paint's dry and it doesn't affect the ink from the pens. There is a difference you can feel when you write on the page with the any paint on, but the pens still work fine. And I've actually tried to make it so anywhere I'm writing I don't actually put pen in anyway. So it works, and I just, yeah, I love it. It's super cute. I think it looks even better in person than it does in the videos, so, but I'm also biased. But I think that's okay, because it is my diary. So we are on to the next set of spreads here. So because I have turned on to a new double spread, I changed films. I decided that kind of seemed to be a really good idea. I thought I didn't want to, I don't know, I love these films too much to commit to just doing one film for an entire month setup, so I wanted to include as many as I could without going overboard, and a bit later it does go a little bit overboard, but it was worth it. So so these are going to be a notes page and my expenses page. So the one thing I have carried on, so even though I've changed films, is I'm still doing the toadstools and the same kind of leaves and stuff. So these characters are from the film Princess Mononoke. So I have decided, so there's so much in that film, if you don't know it, there is so much detail, so many big characters, that I'd never fit them in and do them proper justice. So I've gone with doing the little kodamas. They're little creatures that appear in the film. They're super cute, and I love them as well. And I thought, you know what, these guys would make great little kind of supporting characters around the edge, because obviously with notes and expenses, my expenses kind of setup takes up most of the page, so I need something small to go around the edge. And the same with notes is I don't want to end up drawing something great big and fancy across my notes so that I end up having no space to actually write any notes, because I might as well just draw in a sketchbook at that point. And I haven't written off doing a series of Ghibli, I don't know, sketches, prints, watercolors, something proper that aren't in my journal at some point. But yeah, so I went with these guys because they're little and cute, and just tied it in with the leaves and toadstools. So here we get to my first weekly spread. I have gone with some sprites, and they are my favourite. They appear in a couple of films. You get to meet these if you watch My Neighbor Totoro. They are in that film, but they also feature pretty heavily in Spirited Away. So this spread is more inspired by Spirited Away. you can't like see them painted in yet, but I based it off the really kind of, I don't want to say iconic because it's probably the wrong kind of word, but there is a scene that everybody seems to remember in Spirited Away, and she comes and she feeds the soot sprites with like candy stars, and you just see these guys bouncing around after these stars, which is their food, and it's super cute, and I love it. Like, I love all of this. And so I thought, you know what, these guys, because they're little, like, they're balls of soot, they're soot sprites. In Spirited Away, they've been created by the Boiler Man to help him do his work by cast a magic spell on soot to make it come alive. So they're these little balls of soot with great big eyes, and they're super cute. They were also a bit of a pain to paint. I had a bit of a thought of how to do this. So you can see I'm doing here. I've sketched them out, and I painted the black circles in, and I left their eyes, but they need to look fluffy, not like black circles. So I then, after that layer had dried, because the other thing with painting in this journal, obviously with watercolors, is this is not watercolor paper, so I'm always super cautious about overloading the pages with water. I don't want it to bleed through to the other side and ruin another setup, or just distort the paper. So I went in again later with my black paint to make them fluffy. And here you can see I'm adding the stars. If you only really need to like search on your browser the phrase soot sprites, and you'll probably find the scene I'm talking about. You can't miss it. But as you can see here, I'm going back in now, and I'm making them fluffy because they're not soot sprites otherwise. I don't know, I feel like I'm rambling, but especially as this is a long video, because it really did take a long time, but it definitely was worth it. But I love them. I love these soot sprites. I don't know, I could quite happily have done an entire setup just painting soot sprites on the page, which is possibly a little bit OTT and a little bit extra, but they're cute. It would be worth it. I mean, maybe with more planning and not doing this sort of last minute, I could do a whole Ghibli. Maybe I'll have a look next year at doing a whole Ghibli setup for the whole year. I think it would be a lot of work, but it would definitely be worth it. I'm just going in here now to add the detailing. I repainted the eyes white because obviously one of the things with soot sprites is they have kind of these big white eyes with just dots in the middle, and my journal page isn't completely white. I was like, I'm going to paint them in white, and then I'm going to go back in after to put the eyes in, because I didn't really want the dots showing through from the planet. I think it worked. I enjoy it. And I've stuck with the same kind of weekly setups for the rest of it that I've been using for the last month. So painting there, that was the bit of a mistake I mentioned earlier. I thought, I'm going to highlight the week instead of using colouring pencils like I have before. I'm going to do it with a watercolour, like a pale something, and it totally smudged the pen a bit and it went a bit muddy looking. So when I got to the next page, I definitely learned my lesson. As you can see there, I'm painting that bit in first before I go near it with a pen, and it works a lot better. So this weekly spread is definitely a little bit over the top. It definitely took me quite a while, but I also definitely think it was worth it. So this one was based off the film Ponyo, and I absolutely love Ponyo as a film. It has got some of the cutest stuff, like the theme song is just, I get it stuck in my head. It is now already in a loop in my head, so I had to use it. It's about a little girl that's really a fish, but she turns into a little girl and she falls in love with a little boy, and it is just super cute. But I had to paint Ponyo. It's kind of like part of the opening scene where you see Ponyo on the back. I believe it's a stingray, a ray of some kind anyway, under a jellyfish, kind of peeking out and looking at everyone. It's just really cute, and Ponyo's cute as a fish, she's cute as a girl. But this was a little bit of a pain to paint because it's shades of blue. There's about 5 shades of blue in that. Even the red of her body is kind of shaded because some of it you're looking straight on, some of it you're looking through a jellyfish, so it's not 100% the same colour. It was totally worth it. I mean, I can't say it wasn't, because I really love how it came out, so I cannot really complain. And then on the other side, so I'm kind of painting some of the kind of my favourite kind of little bits you see in the film. So there's Sosuke's boat, so Sosuke's a little boy, and then there's the origami fish on the top left. He makes origami fish for some of the residents at the home next to his school, which is cute. And then on the bottom left is his bucket, and that is how he first meets Ponyo, and he puts her in the bucket to keep her safe. It is genuinely just the cutest little film going. I would recommend you watch all of these, but definitely this is one that needs to be watched because it's just so cute, and it's absolutely a family-friendly film, so it is great to watch with kids as well. It isn't an adult film at all. It is definitely kind of appropriate for everyone. Just watch it and enjoy. Don't think too deep into it. Just enjoy it. Let them take you on a bit of an adventure. So next spread. So this is 3 out of 4 spreads. So this one is based on Howl's Moving Castle. Another one of my favourites. I think they're all my favourites. They're all my favourites. So I am painting the character Calcifer right now. He is a fire demon, and he's just such a big part of the film. It's just, I don't know, I don't think if you didn't have him in the film, it just wouldn't be the same. You need him in that film. So I've just gone with Calcifer at the bottom there as kind of a big nod to the film, because some of the other bits aren't quite as obvious, although if you knew the films you would know the characters. And then I've just gone with some other bits. So on the bottom left corner I have done a frying pan with bacon and eggs, and if you've seen the film you'll understand the reference perfectly. And then bottom right I've got Sophie's hat, and then so top left of both pages I have done some black feathers, obviously for Howl. I wasn't up for painting Howl in this. I thought that would definitely be too over the top and a bit much. Again, I'm going to think about this maybe for next year, a whole book. But yeah, so we've got the feathers, we've got the hat, we've got the frying pan, we've got Calcifer, and then you can see it at the minute, it's still on your pencil. I didn't paint it in, I'm doing it now. I'm doing the spell that the Witch of the Waste sent Howl as a message, because I really like the design of this spell. I don't know, I just really like it, so I thought it made a good kind of top central bit for that page. It wasn't too big, didn't encroach too much, but it's kind of pretty, and it's, I don't know, I just wanted to definitely make a big kind of nod to the film instead of kind of just having little references that you might not understand unless you knew the films quite well. But I like it. I could have gone over the top, but I'm trying to keep these simple, even if it didn't always work. So this is the last spread in this month's setup. I've decided to put the last 3 days of March into the April one, just because there's more days of April in that last week than there are of March. And I couldn't come back round without kind of, I know I've already done Spirited Away, but I love these two guys in this film, and I know I've done the Sun Sprites already for Spirited Away, but they're kind of a big part, but they're in like other films, and I don't know, I just wanted more Spirited Away because there are so many other things in that film. I mean, there's still even more in that film I could have used, and I haven't, because I kind of trying to just keep it around the edges. So I don't know, yeah, I had to do more Spirited Away. Spirited Away is the film that got me into Ghibli. It is the first one I bought, and yeah, it just started the whole thing. So for this one, I have done the bath tokens, obviously because Spirited Away is set in a bathhouse, and then also because I just didn't want to do bath tokens, I've done the paper birds that you see in the scene. That I don't want to give too much away if people haven't seen it. Obviously, Zeniba sends these paper birds after Haku, so I kind of just wanted to include them in there because they're a nice kind of simple little drawing. And then, of course, at the top of my right-hand page, I put Bow and Bird because, I don't know, I just, while I love Chihiro and Haku and all the other characters, I kind of love those two little guys. They're so kind of cute. If you've seen the film, I hope you'd understand. But they're just kind of two kind of really cute characters that grow in this film, and they're not what they seem. And yeah, I just love it because I love it. I think that's all the kind of justification I really need on this. Really, this month is I love it. So go check out Studio Ghibli if you haven't already. But anyway, that is this month's setup. So enjoy my final flick through, and I'll see you again soon.